he set a standard for us right then and there. Actually, I think everybody can agree that the punishment was unfair. The fact that a man was late because his bus was late, he missed a train connection, or it wasn't his fault that he was late, that didn't make any difference at all to Sink. The fact that you were late, despite the circumstances, is the point that he would not tolerate. You're responsible for being there. It don't matter what. I'll give you an example of that, personal example. At one point when we were in England, I was athletic officer for the battalion. And Colonel Chase, the executive officer for Sink, was in Littlecote, about 8 miles away. And they wanted to have a meeting. And the setup was that we'll send a Jeep for you, and the meeting will be, say, at 9 o'clock here. Well, the Jeep didn't show up, and I had to wait and wait. And finally, the Jeep showed up. So it ends up I'm late for the meeting. Colonel Chase kept me after the meeting is over. And what's your excuse? Well, sir, the Jeep didn't show up. That was supposed to show up to bring me to the meeting. He nods his head. He says, Winters, how far is it from Auburn to Littlecote? Oh, about 8 miles, sir. Do you know how long it takes you to walk or to run that? Yes, sir. Well, the next time you start on time. So that's how reasonable, that's how unfair he wasn't. But he was making the point. No excuses. Yeah. If you're supposed to be here at a certain time, you get there. Don't tell me that it's somebody else's fault. And he followed that straight through. And frankly, that helped set the standards for orders in the future that were to follow us into combat. No excuses, just get the job done.
Certainly, probably was hard to understand in the basic and when you're on furlough, but when you were in the situations you were in, whether it was Holland or Bastogne or wherever, you understood that if you were to be there at 1800 or at whatever time, you had to be there because other people counted on you.
You lived by your watch. You lived by your orders. And frankly, after finishing the service, my time in the service, I was so fed up with living to the minute, to the second, that when I came home, I never wore a wristwatch, and I don't today. I've never worn a wristwatch for that reason. I just had it. And but we did. We lived right to the second.